years, their own childhood when they were big wrestling fans, putting those up. So it's there's the connections. The St. Louis and Hulk connections ran more deeply than I knew before yesterday.
All right.
What have you been doing? Thursdays are your good day because you are off the late night show,
Yes.
and then now on Fridays, are you actually going to be able to take a couple days off this weekend?
Unbelievable dinner party last night. Had some friends and family over. It was great.
What'd you eat?
Flank steak with this special corn on top of the flank steak, and then this strawberry cake again for dessert, which may be the best thing I've ever eaten. So it was just unbelievable. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, good. And did you have to stay inside because of the heat, or did you get out?
We stayed inside.
Yeah, it was good. It
How
was
about
good.
yourself?
It was really a great Thursday. Of course, Peyton's in town. She and I, after I got done with my coaching work after I left the radio station, had some coaching clients, and then we went shopping, which I'm not a huge shopper generally, but we had a really great time going.
You're not a huge shopper, but I don't think I've ever seen you wear the same thing twice. In how many months have you been here?
I'm wearing something I wore fairly recently today, as people can find out on
How observant
YouTube. I was going to say, does that really have to do with my
How many
wardrobe?
months have you been here now?
I have been here. You and I have done the show since the beginning of November. So what is that? 8-9 months, and then I started filling
You've been
in.
here about 9 months.
Well, I actually was here for
But
Carney
in a full-time.
full time for 9 months.
Yeah, because that thing in your contract kicks in at 10. We have to make a decision then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I thank you. I'm so lucky to have you as my decision maker. I bow down.
Well,
as
Mark and I
always.
will go over your work, and then we'll make the decision because we have a 10-month out.
Right. The funny thing about this is I think you had zero say in that I took this position in the first place, much to your chagrin initially, but it's working out fine.
No,
I think
I'm
in the
glad
end.
Mark. It was all Mark, and I'm glad he decided to pair us together.
Yes,
It was
so
a
we had a
great
good
move
time.
by that great radio.
We had a
agent.
good time doing a little shopping. Highly recommend the There She Goes boutique over in De Pere. Just a great place. Julie Buck and I are big fans of that place, and so we just had fun shopping, and then we went to our favorite Chinese restaurant last night, which is in U City, and it's called Chili Spot. Ever been there? Have you ever been there, Connor?
I have not. Never heard of it.
It's so good. Out of the 20 tables in there, 17 of them were people of Asian descent. 3 of us
that's a
were
good
not.
sign, isn't it?
And it was, we go way too infrequently based on how absolutely delicious it is. I think it's in an old Long John Silver's or Captain D's on Olive Boulevard, South Side. It's called Chili, Chili Spot, and it is just really good, authentic Chinese food.
Boy, I'm into that. That's good. One other thing is we had Doug Vaughn in studio. We taped a Sports Plus
how did that
interview.
go?
I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever laughed harder for like 15 minutes. And then when we're editing the thing, Corey, Andy, and I, mainly Corey editing yesterday, we're all laughing again. I mean, it just I may be too inside television-ish, but he's just the best.
Laughing with stories, just give us a tiny bit of
And
preview
how
that you had of
his
each other.
disregard for TV and his whatever he ever did in his career and stuff. And I go, what would you want somebody to say about you, about your television radio career? And his response was, I'm glad he retired. I mean, he's just so self-deprecating. He is one of a kind. So
And
we'll have that
how
on Sunday.
many? Give me, help me understand. I know he was in the St. Louis market for so long.
Oh, that's a great question because he went 34 years and like a month, so he breaks Rich Gould's record for longest tenure as a television sportscaster. 34 years and a month. He told me that yesterday.
Wow. So. And are you trying to beat that record?
Well, signing this contract probably will do that. We'll see what happens.
He has just signed a 15-year contract.
Yeah.
So if you think you're sad that he might someday retire, don't worry. He's going to be around for a long time to come.
Yeah. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we will have the opening dialogue on the Frank and Jill Show.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the Hill. Whether you live on the Hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. We are insanely busy right now. It's my peak selling and buying season. I need to buy as many pristine Corvettes, Cadillacs, Vipers, Raptors, and other sports cars and luxury cars that I can find. Do you have a unique, rare, classic, or collectible vehicle you want to sell? Maybe even a daily driver with super low miles and in excellent condition. If so, we want to talk. We are cash buyers for collector-grade vehicles, including motorcycles. We've got great deals on hard-to-find, auto-check certified vehicles, too. Hop on our site today to buy, sell, or trade.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes, vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw-Millhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Lang. Join me for Animal Talk every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
In Forest Park.
You will be found. The deeply moving Dear Evan Hansen makes its Muni debut July 28th through August 3rd. Sponsored by Purina. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS.
Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, here we go with thought one. So there was an apparel company that I'm sure everybody's heard of, American Eagle. Men and women's clothing place. It's been around since 1977. Sold in many stores, lots of malls, it seems like. So the stock really tanked. It's not particularly distinctive, but not expensive, and I don't know much about the product itself, but the stock has tanked. Anyway, they needed to do something. So they hired Sydney Sweeney. The commercial is her in jeans and a tank top. She doesn't talk. She just gets into an old Mustang. Looks like she's actually working on the car, too. Very realistic. Well, the stock finished up 4.3% the other day, adding roughly $100 million to the market cap. Insane. So it got me thinking about a celebrity who could have a dramatic impact on a product. I think the biggest one would be Michael Jordan on an island with Nike, Snoop Dogg, Corona, Shaq with Papa John's. But what about locally? In the area we are right now, there used to be a restaurant called Deardorff and Hart's, and they had one distinctive line from that commercial where Dan Deardorff said, "I'm thinking of a steak." That was powerful. Steve Mizrarini was very popular, but it's a great topic for the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, 84126. Best national situation where one celebrity had such an impact on the product, and best local. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because I wouldn't have thought I would have made the incorrect presumption that it's not as impactful today to have that celebrity spokesperson behind
Yeah.
it. Even though you still see it, you see Matthew McConaughey. Is it the Lincoln automobiles that he reps for, and several stars are behind alcohol brands. I think back to the early 80s, Brooke Shields and jeans, supposedly Calvin Klein just that went up 1,000,000%
Yes.
because of her being the spokesmodel
Yeah.
for them.
I got another one, but it wasn't a commercial, but it was in a movie. It was American Gigolo, Richard Gere Armani. They said that he had more of an impact on that company than almost anybody. That was before Michael Jordan, because all of his suits and everything. And he got free Armani for the rest of his life, by the way.
And if you look through any of the women's fashion magazines or like Men's Health, there's still a lot of celebrities that are behind fragrance brands.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You still see Charlize Theron and some people like that have a very strong recognized brand that are behind that. I think of Becky, Queen of Carpet, when I think of local business owners.
Okay, yeah.
Having a big impact as well. Good question. Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Our good friend and regular contributor to the show, Sarah Fensky, breaking some news this morning. St. Louis is now rated the top. Don't we love hearing this? And it's good news, right? Because a lot of times we're at the top of lists that we'd rather not be at. The top luxury real estate market in the nation. The news comes from the Wall Street Journal and Realtor.com.
Luxury real estate.
Yes. And it says...
Is there a definition of numbers? Like, is it over 3 million or what is
it?
I think if you have a steam room in your bathroom.
Yes,
actually,
that's it. Yep, steam
Well
room
played,
in your
Connor.
bathroom. Grew up in Frontenac. You own a luxury home, no matter where you live now. So I think you're there. Congratulations. Maybe you're the reason we're number one.
All right, enough.
Highest performing and most attractive metro areas for luxury home purchases. They compare 60 metros. They found that St. Louis edged out number 2 Santa Fe, growing appeal among buyers, easy for me to say, who prioritize substance over flash. And they said that the metro continues to stand for its compelling mix of luxury living, economic stability, and everyday livability without the elevated price tags typically associated with more coastal markets. So apparently what they're saying is you get a good value when you're at the higher end luxury market in the St. Louis area, and that helps put us at the top of the list.
Pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, it is.
We're number one at something.
At something. I mean, and it's not crime or the murder rate. So I think that's
hold those
winning on
titles.
this Friday for sure.
Oh, we got a good one here, by the way. Joe DiMaggio, Mr. Coffee. In fact, Connor, we had to play that coming back out of a break. That is so good. That was so famous. Okay, thought 2. I have a new favorite St. Louis Cardinal. His name is Andre Granillo. I call him Andre the Giant Granillo. 6'4", 250 pounds, 25 years old. He blew away almost everybody he faced in Memphis in AAA this season. He's been promoted to the Cardinals and has allowed just 1 run in 8 1/3 innings. So, Jill, he has this refreshing attitude about loving and living for competition and the one-on-one battle. And he described it so vividly in the clubhouse to me. He later said the reason he has so much confidence and because he believes the Lord is on his side and that a higher power is always with him. He doesn't pray to God to get strikeouts. He prays for good health, and he prays to thank the Lord for what he does for a living. He's likely right now, and he's only been here for a cup of coffee, the best talker on the team, in addition to being a good pitcher. He was so good that after the interview, I waited for the crowd to leave, and then we chatted, and I thought to myself, this guy is too good to be true, so I asked the question, Andre, are you Italian? And he said, sorry, no, I'm Spanish. So he's almost perfect. But this guy is going to be special. He's a great pitcher, and I just couldn't believe he blew my socks off being a great talker, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, talk about checking your boxes,
Yes.
being a really, really good, honest, authentic, and good soundbite producer.
Well, if you're a good soundbite, then Frank is all about you.
Yeah, a
Right.
good soundbite with a strong faith, and
Yeah.
he'll set you up
2
with
for 2.
one of his relatives for sure. Okay, so as all of you know by now, we've got a wedding in the family coming up. Daughter Jane getting married next May, and so I was compelled by this article in the Wall Street Journal that more and more parents and families are going along on honeymoons with their the newlywed couples. it was shocked me, and I thought that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But then as I read into it, couples who get married a little bit later have often done the traditional, have already taken like a Caribbean trip, or maybe the things that we used to associate with going on honeymoons. So sometimes they want to do more exotic things, like, for instance, go on a safari in Africa, or go on on some kind of a cruise to a very not so popular destination like Antarctica. And so they do that when they're doing these once in a lifetime trips. They often invite their family along, not only to share expenses, but to have them be part of this experience as well. I have kind of floated the idea with the kids. It's an absolute hard no that I get to go on any honeymoons with anybody in our family. And I only have one more that I would want to. I wouldn't want to anyway. I want them to have that trip together. But I have to admit, my initial negative reaction when I saw the article, when I saw the headline, tempered a little bit as I read the conditions for which people are joining entire families on honeymoon trips.
Yeah, but when's the last time you've taken one with both, like, either son-in-law or future son-in-law and both daughters?
We have done that traditionally about once a year. This year was a little different because John and I took that big, long 2-week trip to Europe, and we left the kids behind, so we have to catch up after the wedding next year.
A really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't take them to Africa. We didn't take them on the European one. We usually get a house and meet up somewhere, kind of like what you guys did in Hilton Head.
Yeah. We've started doing it about 4 or 5 years ago because there was a lot of years where we couldn't because of baseball and golf. We couldn't take one. Sometimes we did them for spring break sometimes, but even then it was difficult because they had so much. But now, I mean, I'll never live another year on this earth without taking one with everybody. It's just the greatest. So. All right, thought 3. Just a quick thought on the stock market. This is insane. Currently, the S&P 500 is up 8.5% for the year. There's a chance we could be up 20% for the year, which would be insane. If that happens, it will be only the second time in the last 75 years that the market has had back-to-back 20% or more returns. The market closed at an all-time high 6 times this month. All indexes are up again today, which could make it 7 times in 1 month. This shows a slow, consistent, stair-stepping growth as opposed to volatile swings. It's early, but it's really in a good place, and it's good for America.
Yeah, that is good news. And the market, I just read an analysis piece a couple days ago. It's just gotten a lot less reactive. It was some would say too reactive, some would say just newly reactive to the tariff talk early on, and it just has decided that it's not going to react to that, and that creates more stability for everybody, I think, in the long run, which is good news, particularly for those of us trying to look at that retirement not too far down the pike. A steady and even slower growth is not such a bad thing. Any insights from our former only member of the team?
I don't even know if I'm qualified to have an insight. So,
only member of the team who worked in wealth management. Anything we missed there in that?
No, I'll leave it to the professionals out there.
Okay, good. So a little life coaching thought for this morning.
Hit the record button.
Please. Yeah, you're going to like this. I don't think there's anything too shocking in this, but it's sometimes a good reminder that research tells us that when we have a sense of belonging, whether that's 1 or 2 other people or a much larger group, we tend to be better at regulating stress and emotions. So sometimes when we get stressed out, we self-isolate. The problem with that is it tends to exacerbate or amplify that.
Does that mean you don't talk with other people about it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a coping mechanism a lot of people have, particularly of certain generations where it was considered negative to express emotion or to be vulnerable about things.
This is probably more of a male-oriented issue, correct?
It can be, although a certain percentage of women can be people that they think they're supposed to be positive all the time. So if they have a negative experience, they're less likely to share that as well. So there's tendency in both genders, but you're not wrong about that. But the research again tells us that even it doesn't have to be a massive group of people. 1 or 2 people does it. But if you have a trusted support system, you are not just going to have better at regulating stress and emotions. You're going to be a little happier and more content than the rest of the population. I have to say that many of my clients falsely believe that belonging to a group or being part of a community should just spontaneously happen. They shouldn't have to cultivate it or curate it, and that's just not true. So wherever you are in life, are there ways that you can put a little better community around yourself, shared interests, seasons of life things, anything from faith to things you're interested in learning? Even if you're really introverted, creating regular connection with a community can make you happy and more successful. And a lot of times people think it should spontaneously happen because we had those years where it did, right?
Yes.
When our kids were in sports, when your kids are in school, when your kids are playing with each other in the neighborhood, if you're a family person, those things build spontaneous community for us, right?
It's true.
Back in the days when more people were regular members of church or faith communities or things like the Rotary Club, as culture and society has dropped out of some of those institutionalized community connections, people are more isolated than ever. And I think it's one of those things that we all have to pay attention. Another tiny little piece of interesting data. Eating lunch with somebody, even if you don't like them, is still better for your psyche and stress regulation than eating lunch alone at your desk. When I do corporate program, I often talk about it. It's like sitting there at your desk thinking you're being more production alone you're missing out on a good opportunity to change the channel in your brain and get a little less stressed.
What about eating it in the car like I do at 12:05 every day?
I think that's about the same as eating it alone at your desk. Unless there's something really special about your car, like you have a steam machine in there that makes you feel really great or something.
Okay, so quick response about impact that celebrities have had on a product. Joe Namath for pantyhose with Farrah Fawcett. Maybe that was that the Farrah Fawcett one? I think it was. Jack Carney, John's father, helped more businesses build themselves than any other St. Louisan. That's the most true statement ever made on KTRS radio. Sidney Crawford wearing that iconic white tank and jeans for Pepsi in 1992 Super Bowl commercial, which ironically is what we've just seen in the American Eagle commercial with Sydney Sweeney. So interesting. Brooke Dubin, Carol House, because you like nice things. That is a famous line. The shakaroni is the best thing to happen to pizzas and stuffed crust.
Did you say George Foreman Grill already?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
Several people have weighed in with that one.
Uncle Leonard with Brett Hall. Uncle Leonard was famous, but the Joe DiMaggio one, oh my goodness. That was, as a kid growing up, that may have been the most famous.
Yeah,
Mr. Coffee.
Somebody else pointing out that the reason families are going on honeymoons is because many, many couples have been living together as a married couple long before they're actually married. So a honeymoon is hardly a private time for bride and groom to get to know each other. Probably a fair message as well. Good stuff, you guys, on the text line. Keep it coming. It's your chance to join the conversation. Mike Colombo from Fox 2 is about to join us in just a second, but we've been talking about the market and the fact that it's ending up to be some steady growth, volatility from earlier in the year, getting better, as Frank reported just a few minutes ago. And there are a lot of changes that came in that big bill, the big beautiful bill that, as President Trump calls it, the big budget bill, as it's more officially termed. There are some tax changes in there, and you want somebody on your team, on your retirement planning and wealth management team, who really understands everything there is to do with taxes so that you don't pay too much. And of course, that person is none other than Jeff Zufall, senior tax strategist, wealth advisor at Capital Advisory Group, best-selling author on the subject, has a great show here tomorrow on KTRS called Keep What's Yours, also the title of his book. We highly recommend him for managing your money and making sure that you don't overpay on your taxes. 636-394-5524, capitaladvisorygrp.com.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Tracking some scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day. Keep an eye between noon and 9 o'clock for these storms where you get hit. That's where you can expect the heat index to be a little bit lower. For everyone else that don't see the storms, our temperature is still going to be hot, 94 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and a heat index at times reaching as high as 105. We keep the high heat index through Tuesday, after which point this weather pattern finally breaks. For the First Alert Ford Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Leah Hill for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
Heidi Klaus, Josh Gilbert, and Bob Ramsey.
Weekday afternoons at 3.
On the Big 550.
Always current and always on.
KTRS.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment. You fill out a health questionnaire form. You get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home. And then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners. And then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
Hey, Heidi here. Are you finally ready to take charge of your health but can't make it to Premier U? Premier U gets that life is busy, which is why they offer telemedicine, where you can start your personalized wellness journey from the convenience of your home. Whether it's medical weight loss, hormone optimization, or just assessing your overall health, Premier U can get you started with a virtual consultation and treatment plan. Don't let distance be a barrier to a healthier you. Visit PremierUmed.com to learn more. Premier U, modern medicine for your lifestyle wherever you are.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants, the cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at SimplySecureDentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or SimplySecureDentures.com.
Welcome back and happy Friday. Frank and Jill show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano. It's a steamy one out there. We're really glad that you're spending part of your morning with us. We are here until noon. When we mentioned earlier in the show that we were going to have this guest coming up, our next guest, we got some great texts from people saying he is a fabulous reporter. Excited to hear from him. And of course, he is Mike Colombo. I happen to think he has one of the most challenging and rewarding jobs in local TV news. He is the Contact 2 investigative reporter at KTVI Fox 2. He has done an incredible job for the past 2 months covering the storm, the May 16th tornado that ravaged parts of our city. And he has been kind enough to join us this morning. Thank you so much, Mike.
Well, thank you, Jill and Frank, for having me. And Jill, thank you for the kind words. You once held this job, so you know better than anybody the challenges that come with it. And it is incredibly rewarding to be able to help some of the people that we're able to help.
So, you know, a lot of people in St. Louis, if we're going to be honest, have kind of moved on from the tornado because their houses weren't directly impacted. You have been back in the zone where the greatest damage was done. Update us on what you are seeing. How are people handling the heat in the homes that still don't have roofs replaced and had, HVAC units decimated by the storms? Are people suffering? What's being done to be able to continue to support them?
Well, I think right now, one of our main goals is, while a lot of the world has moved on, a lot of our community has moved on, it's our goal to continue to highlight the struggles that are still taking place for those people who are impacted. And a lot of what I'm seeing right now is just people trying to navigate the FEMA process and the challenges and frustrations and miscommunications and misunderstandings that come with that. We had a story that aired earlier this week where we were able to help a man kind of get the documentation together that he needed to make sure that the claim that he filed was accurate and all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed so that he could move forward with his claim. But for a lot of these people, they're still, trying to, in some cases, live in these storm-damaged homes. Other people are trying to salvage what they can and repair what they can, or they're living with relatives and things of that nature. So there's still very much an effort underway to get these people back into their homes if possible, or, find housing elsewhere for those who live in places that can't be salvaged.
So, Mike, in your coverage of this over the last couple of months, what was the most gut-wrenching story you heard from a particular person or a family just in terrible times and not getting any help?
Well, I would say that I think that the outpouring of support in helping those people has been one of the big stories. But, just last week, I interviewed a woman who was getting a roof put back on her home by the 100 Roofs Project, which I know all of the stations in St. Louis have covered, a volunteer effort of people who are literally going to, their goal was 100, they made 100 last week, putting tarps on roofs, band-aiding these homes the best that they can. This woman's home was severely damaged by that storm. 28 years to the day that this 100 Roofs Project put a roof back onto her home. 28 years prior, she and her family survived a home explosion due to a natural gas leak. And it was just like this incredible story. She survived that terrible accident, and then she survives the May 16th tornado. And it was pure coincidence that it happened on that exact same date, but it was almost a full circle moment in that, she was able to get a little bit of relief 28 years after the fact that she had been through this horrible experience and lived to tell about it. You really see survival. And, I've covered a lot of natural disasters, but this is probably the one that I've covered that has the closest connection to like a Hurricane Katrina, not in size and scope, but like when you think about the people who, really didn't need this. Their lives were already challenging enough. This was the last thing that they needed. Like, this storm stands out in my mind as being like that. And the resiliency of people despite these awful conditions is what really sticks with me.
Well, you don't do Contact Two unless you are somebody who kind of likes to go the extra mile and kind of look at the story beneath the story, or be willing to try to advocate for those who need it that may not have the resources to do it themselves. So I want you to put in a scope of your entire career of, award-winning investigative pieces and reporting that you've done. When you look back on your career in, 50 years when you retire, how do you think this will rank in terms of the importance of stories that you have covered?
I think it'll be right there at the top because of the fact that, it's impacted so many people, and these folks, they've lost so much already. They struggle day by day just to get by. And it has such a visual, visceral feeling when you see it. Like, a lot of the stuff that I'll do stories on, it's very paperwork heavy. You're kind of going through documents and you are seeing big dollar figures perhaps, but you don't have the visual reaction. You can't help but drive through these neighborhoods and see and feel the impact, and then you talk with the people and it hits you even more. So I think that's what sticks with me the most, is not only do you know that something bad has happened in your mind, but then when it's confirmed with what you see, it hits home even more. So I think it's going to be right up at the top, and the fact that there's just going to be more and more stories that come forward over the next weeks and months and days and years, like, it's almost even hard to quantify, but I think it's going to be right there near the top.
Mike, before we let you go, you also did a terrific special on professional wrestling. We lost the Hulkster yesterday. I believe, per Herb Simmons, a great promoter in town, that his first wrestling in St. Louis was 82, 83. Do you have a thought on Hulk Hogan?
Well, I mean, what we were able to do with that special that really kind of focused in on Sam Muchnick, who was the promoter that really put wrestling on the map in St. Louis and helped create wrestling at the Chase. I mean, you see some of the names that came through here, the Ric Flairs. It's just like Hulk was in that esteem with the best to ever do it. Certainly some of the most memorable and well-known. And I think we were all a bit struck by the fact of how young he was. I mean, 71 years old is it's a life well lived, but in current day, it's not really that old when you think about it. So, it's certainly sad. And to know that he had a start in St. Louis, I think just further cements the importance that wrestling has had to the St. Louis community and part of its sports history.
Oh, that's very well said. So how have you been in St. Louis, 8-9 years now, or give me the accurate count of your years here?
I moved back. So I'm born and raised in St. Louis. I grew up in Dogtown, went to Vianney High School, then I went to Quincy University for college, and started my career in Quincy, Illinois for a couple of years there, then was in Louisville, Kentucky for a few years, moved back to St. Louis in 2012. 4 years at KMOV, and now I've been here at Fox 2 since 2016. So, it's kind of weird to feel like one of the old guys in the newsroom now, but to be able to get to do this in St. Louis and around family and friends and, a community that means the most to me, it's something that I never take for granted. And being able to help these folks in their darkest times is really an honor.
Do mom and dad critique your work? Does mom say that's a bad tie? Don't say this. Do you get any feedback from them?
Yes, absolutely. My mom passed away in 2021, but if you would have asked her, I should have been hosting the Today Show 10 years ago. So she's always my biggest fan. And, my dad is still with us, and he and the rest of my family are very proud. So I'm certain that he's listening right now. So hi, Pops. And I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to let them see my work.
Good stuff. Awesome career, Mike. We appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Mike Colombo, Fox 2 investigative reporter, joining us on the Frank and Jill Show. What a good guy.
Kind of fun how you're also hometown boy, much like yourself, and then went away to Kentucky to sort of hone some skills, and then able to come back home and do the work they love right here with their families. I
had, 11 months, 4 days, and 2 hours in Kingsport, Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah. Why were you counting? Why were you counting that closely?
I remember Monique said, we were thinking about getting married. She said, why don't we wait till the second job? It was a one-mall town. Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, and myself started our careers there.
Yeah.
Who doesn't belong?
You're so true. I, for some lucky reason, not because I was good enough, I'm sure, but I got to start in a 65th television market.
What was that?
Well, in Des Moines, right out of college. And most of my other colleagues at that station, it was just the right opening at the right time, I promise you. It was not exceptional skill.
Now times have changed that you can literally be walking off the stage at the University of Missouri, Columbia after getting your degree, and there'll be 3 news directors handing you a contract for some small amount. You got the job.
Well, and there was a person who shall remain unnamed at that first station who was very resentful that I started that because he was on his 4th market in Des Moines. And he was really good. It just was the luck of the draw that, starting in tiny, tiny towns and then moving up about, 10 market sizes or 20 market sizes. And so, of course, he was frustrated that somebody started right there. But you're right. Today, people start in St. Louis. And I don't think there was any case where that had happened.
Yeah, there's no right or proper way to do it. It works for different people. I remember when Corey Miller was working on the web and doing some part-time shooting and some part-time producing for us in sports, all the management said, as I suggested, he could do this. I mean, he knows how to produce. I think if you can produce, you have a pretty good feel for how a show should go. And if you have some presentation skills, you keep getting better. But they were all against it. No, tell him to go to Louisville. In fact, they even mentioned the city, Louisville. He's got to work somewhere else first. And then we were losing some people, and I just said, just give him a shot. And now he's tremendous.
Yep. You're his Mike Bush. You're to his career what Mike Bush has been to yours in terms of support and believing in you from day one. That's awesome. Somebody else who believes in all of us is the Medicare man, Ryan Raphael. How do I know that? Because he loves people, and he specifically loves people as they are turning 65, retirement is approaching, and they're overwhelmed and absolutely flabbergasted by the amount of marketing they get and the confusing information they receive when it comes to Medicare plans, Advantage plans, Medigap plans. What about my hearing and vision? Do I get support for that? Do I need to think about this if I'm continuing to work at my big company or if I own my own company? All those questions are ones that Ryan not only can answer, but loves to answer them for you. He's going to be in the show a little bit later today, and so we really want you guys to text in any Medicare-related question you have. Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Ryan will be around in about an hour to answer those questions for you, but get them in now to make sure that your Medicare questions, we'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can if you get them into the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. And as always, you can find out more from Ryan at MedicareManSTL.com.
Make a splash this summer with Dogtown Pizza. The weather and the pizza ovens are heating up, so stock up on 12 different flavors of your favorite Dogtown. Why cook hamburgers on the grill when you can get a hamburger pizza? Hot chicken, the SOB and for me, and from the garden, tomato, basil, garlic, and the veggie. Make your next pool party a pizza party with 12 different flavors of Dogtown, one for every swimmer in your house. Make it a Dogtown summer at every local grocery store and dogtownpizza.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
Now in their third generation and in business for 68 years, Easter Fence is the oldest and most reliable fence company in the St. Louis area. Easter Fence also does decks, concrete, retractable awnings, all sorts of room enclosures, like sunrooms, screen rooms, and roof overs. They take great pride in their work and have a philosophy to simply do what's right and honor their Easter guarantee. Trust your next job to Easter Fence. Call 314-892-8500. Online at easterfenceinc.com.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
The Stages St. Louis season continues. Austin Pride, a new take on Jane Austen's classic Pride and Prejudice. Single tickets on sale now. Visit stagesstlewis.org. In downtown Kirkwood, stagesstlewis.org.
From the clubhouse to the course.
We're teeing off with Frank Cusimano and the weekly golf course spotlight on the Big 550. Powered by Yingling Flight,
The next generation of light beer.
And by Park North Golf Club, Edwardsville's newest golf entertainment venue.
All right. Welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show. Courtney Neisler joins us now from Eagle Springs Golf Course. They're a sponsor of the Frank and Jill shows. We promote golf in St. Louis all summer long. And all through July, Eagle Springs is offering a KTRS special on 18 holes with a cart. You can call 314-355-7277 to make a weekday tee time. Mention KTRS, and it's an unbelievable deal, $55 for each twosome. That is great. It's regularly $90. Courtney, good to be with you. How are you today?
I'm good, Frank. How are you? Hi, Jill.
Hi.
So what about group outings? Because there are a lot of people that love to get together, you know, maybe 8 or 10 foursomes, or maybe have a big corporate outing, and Eagle Springs is an ideal place to do it. Tell our listening audience about that.
Hi. So for our outings, I mean, we love doing anything from, you know, like you said, corporate outings to even just getting friends together, you know, bachelor parties, whatever the case may be. We offer our banquet area in the basement for different events. We have that down there, and we do in-house catering, so we can do all of that for your events. And we can hold up to 144 players is our max on our course. But usually anywhere our corporate events start about, 40 players. And, we like to get people out for a good rate and have a good time.
It's also a pretty affordable place. You guys have a long-time PGA instructor to teach golf lessons. So if somebody's thinking of this is the time in life when they're finally ready to learn how to play golf, maybe to be able to play with the spouse, or they've just always wanted to do it, you guys offer that as well.
Yeah, so Tim Davenport is our director of instruction, and Tim has actually been with Eagle Springs and our owner of our course. He's been working with them for a very long time. He's been with the PGA for over 50 years, so he is more than knowledgeable. He works a lot with our youth. He does a lot of PGA juniors, so we even offer all the way up into youth, all the way through 100 years old. If you want to come out and learn how to play golf, that's awesome. And we've actually seen quite the boom since COVID. Everyone had to go outside and do something. So it's really nice to have the game growing and see young people out there and learning how to play the game. But yeah, like you said, we could even do, couples lessons. Tim even specializes in group lessons, classes, and stuff like that.
All right, before we let you go, we want to remind everybody it's not just an 18-hole championship golf course that plays to a par 72 from the back, but you have another course in addition to that.
Yeah, so we have a par 3 course, which we call our executive course, and that's where we invite a lot of our beginners out and even the people who have been playing golf for a long time. It is a great course to get your short game practice in. It is 9 holes of par 3. The par 3 course is 1,200 yards, and it requires most of the clubs in your bag. Your driver might get to come out on a hole or two. So it's nice and it's walkable. And alongside the par 3 course, we also have foot golf, which is a mixture of soccer and golf.
Good stuff. Courtney, thanks so much. Continued success at Eagle Springs. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great one.
All right.
Speaking of golf, inquiring minds want to know what your golf plans are for the weekend.
Late night golf with Brooke, who's literally 11 days away from giving birth. So we'll play late tonight. Then I think everybody's going to play on Saturday.
Oh, that's so exciting. I know a lot of our listeners are following along and excited for you to get to have the third grandchild enter into the mix. I know you and your gorgeous wife, Monique, are really excited to be able to have a threesome of granddaughters coming up here later on in the month for sure. So speaking of par 3 courses, I once had a drive that went like a foot away from the hole on a par 3.
Oh, wow.
And then I got the hole in, so I was like running around and going, I got an eagle. And then my husband and dad were like, sorry, honey, it has to be a hole in 1 at a par 3 to really technically be an eagle. And then I will say on the next hole, I scratched, which means I higher than, I think it was 10 strokes or whatever it is that it's a scratch. So that's how inconsistent of a golfer I am, even on a par 3, to be honest.
One of our topics today is about advertisers or celebrities having a big impact on advertising because of what Sydney Sweeney has done in a short period of time at American Eagle. And Joe DiMaggio with Mr. Coffee growing up was one of the most impactful ones. Connor, do you have that? It's not a real exciting commercial, but everybody remembers it if you're of a certain age.
Oh, that's funny. Did you guys have one at your house?
Oh, yeah. Everybody did, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. My grandparents got one first, and I remember having seen the commercials. I thought this just doesn't get any better or fancier than this, and then eventually we did at home as well.
How much do you think that TV commercial cost to make?
I have no idea. Do you know?
No, I don't, but...
It looks like it's shot in his kitchen, too.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Save money on a studio there.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and I did we say this one too, Mean Joe Green for Coke at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah.
That was very, very good.
Somebody
as well.
asking Frank, did Andy Van Slyke send in the DiMaggio Mr. Coffee text? That's a reference to DiMaggio being very rude to Andy Van Slyke when he asked for an autograph for his son, AJ. And AJ, he said no. Then Andy went up there himself and said, Joe, this is my son. I want you to sign. And he eventually did. DiMaggio, I hate to say it, was not like an endearing, lovable guy.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is that, Jill, he insisted on being introduced at every event he ever attended after he retired as baseball's greatest living player.
I remember that.
Yeah, and Willie Mays was alive, and Joe DiMaggio was not as good as Willie Mays. You can make a case for Ted Williams, but
he did, well, at least he didn't say I once was able to regularly sleep with Marilyn Monroe and have that be part of the line.
In fact, along those lines, my dad used to remind me, because he loved Joe D, because he was Italian. He said that that every day he went to Marilyn Monroe's gravesite and delivered flowers.
I heard that. I wonder if it's an urban myth.
Yeah, who knows if it was every day, but he did it a lot.
Yeah, gave him a little credibility, even though he was not a nice guy.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a short time out. Lynn Venthouse coming up next. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is where St. Louis comes to talk.
What number do you want?
The Big 550.
KTRS.
St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Florida, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell and her attorney for a second day of questioning in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Maxwell, Epstein's former companion and co-conspirator, was convicted of sex trafficking and is serving a 20-year sentence. President Trump facing pressure to release the full Epstein files.
Before he left for a long weekend at his Scottish golf resorts, the president was asked if he's open to clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I don't want to talk about that.
Trump pointed to the ongoing conversation between Maxwell and the Deputy Attorney General, his former defense attorney. ABC's Mary Bruce asked the president,
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before.
Todd Blanche said he hoped to ask Maxwell whether she thinks anyone else should be charged in the trafficking. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
The U.S. and Israel pulled out of Gaza ceasefire talks yesterday, raising the stakes for Palestinians and the remaining hostages. ABC's Maggie Rulli has more.
Steve Witkoff, the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, he's accused Hamas of not acting in good faith, announcing that the U.S. negotiating team has departed Doha, where those talks were happening. He said they will now, quote, consider alternative options to bring the hostages home and try to create a more stable environment for the people of Gaza, although he did not specify what those alternative means might be.
Britain's prime minister announcing an emergency call with France, Germany, and Italy today to address the lack of aid and growing starvation in Gaza, joining French President Emmanuel Macron to recognize a Palestinian state and also urge Israel to change course. Florida's governor today at a briefing says deportation flights have begun this week from the migrant lockup facility in the Everglades known as Alligator Alcatraz. The flights are operated by Homeland Security. DeSantis says 100 detainees so far have been transferred to other countries. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is KTRS St. Louis, the Talk of St. Louis. I'm Jim Fairchild. Family of a man who died after being placed in a restraint chair at the St. Louis City Justice Center last weekend said they plan to file a wrongful death lawsuit after viewing footage of his death. The family of Samuel Hayes Jr. held a news conference yesterday along with their attorney, Jack Waldron.
Nobody in that jail seems capable of following any policies related to a restraint chair. There's nobody in that jail who seems to know how to do anything correctly, and at no point in the near future should anybody be put in one of those.
Hayes was placed in a restraint chair after an altercation with another detainee. The lawsuit is expected to be filed next week. Congressman Wesley Bell wants to add 2 areas of St. Louis to the Radioactive Compensation Fund. Currently, only North County and St. Charles County are covered. Bell wants the zip codes of 63106 and 63107 in North City to be included. Well, a national convenience store chain is being sued following an incident in one of its stores in St. Charles County, and we give details on that story from KTRS's Steve Potter.
A lawsuit filed this week accuses Quick Trip of selling alcohol to an already intoxicated man who later caused a crash that severely injured 2 people. The lawsuit alleges that an employee at the Quick Trip in the 300 block of North Main in St. Peters sold alcohol to the man after the man's employer had already called police to report that the man had left work intoxicated after refusing to take an alcohol test. The suspect then bought 2 large cans of Four Locos and drank them in the parking lot. He reportedly caused a disturbance at the Quick Trip before driving away and causing the crash that hospitalized the victims with multiple injuries. The lawsuit claims Quick Trip was negligent in how it trained and supervised employees regarding alcohol sales. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. Place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. On Wall Street right now, the Dow Jones is up 56 points. It stands right now at 44,750. The NASDAQ is at 61 at 21,119. S&P 500 has gained 16 points. It stands right now at 6,379. In KTRS Sports, Mizzou extended the contract to football coach Eli Drinkwitz through the 2029 season. His salary remains $9 million for 2025, climbs to $9.25 million in 2026. Forecast includes that extreme heat warning in effect until Tuesday at 7 p.m. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, a high of 93 degrees. We expect heat index readings up around 105 today. Tonight, slight chance of rain, low of 77. Spotty showers tomorrow with a high of 94 degrees. Tomorrow night, chance of showers again with an overnight low of 73. And on Sunday, a 30% chance of rain. And we expect a high on Sunday of around 95 degrees with sunshine. Right now, we have sunshine and 89 degrees. I'm Jim Fairchild, KTRS News.
Miller Furniture, St. Louis's home for American-made furniture, presents Lynn Venhouse Goes to the Movies.
Let's go to the movies.
On the Big 550, KTRS.
All right, we're excited. It's one of our favorite times of the week. Lynn Venhouse is with us. Much to discuss. I mean, Friday night, the Cardinals are like the 3rd most interesting thing. You got Happy Gilmore tonight on Netflix, and you have the Billy Joel Part 2. Let's just say, Lynn, you could only watch one tonight. What would you be more interested to watch?
Oh, I'd be watching Billy Joel too, because the first one was, I was riveted every single minute. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I couldn't believe how fascinating it was. And I thought I knew him because I saw him in concert in '78, like after The Stranger.
At Busch?
At the Checkerdome.
Oh, Checkerdome. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, twice at the Checkerdome.
Was that with Elton John?
No. This was just by himself when he was just up and coming. He jumped all over that stage. He was unbelievable. 78, 79. And so I thought, oh, I know a lot about him. But no.
Yeah, now we get into the Christy Brinkley element and how it happened, how it ended. That's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, his future wives, because I saw him at the Enterprise, whatever it was, when he came like maybe 10 years ago, and he was kidding. He goes, you guys in the Chiefs, he goes, I got to pay all my ex-wives and everything, so he was kidding about how many times he had been married by that point. But the story about his first wife is really heartbreaking, and you don't really know that much about him. But hearing those songs again, to me, was like hearing them for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you heard the backstories about them, too. So anyway, that is tonight. So is Happy Gilmore, too. I'm very excited about Leanne Morgan coming out with her sitcom on Netflix on Thursday. So we got a ways to wait. But she was on Colbert the other night, and they were showing clips, and she was just hilarious because all middle-aged women love her, because she is so relatable as a mom, a grandma, and as a woman who grew up in a certain time and lived through all that. And the first time I heard her in 2019, she went viral because she talked about taking her husband to a Journey and Def Leppard concert. And it was all the old people, and they had a hard time getting up after the concert, and they were all like having plantar fasciitis.
Right, making the request for having it a little bit earlier in the day would have really helped everybody out. She is hilarious. I saw her at a sold-out show at Stiefel, and I mean, people were joking that they were laughing till they were crying, and because we were all women of a certain age, laughing until we needed Depends. But it was absolutely hilarious. So to see her see the success, just like Nate Bargatze, from being just a down-to-earth, I mean, such a hardworking, on the grind of doing tours for years and years and years and years, to see him make the translate their business to the screen. I think that's excellent.
Oh, it is. And they both have specials on Netflix. If you're not familiar with them, I encourage her. I'm Every Woman is hilarious. And then she's all over YouTube. And then Nate, too. He has all, those specials. But she is, how she started, I love this story. She was a Tupperware salesman, and she would go to the house parties, and she would have the women laughing so hard that the hostess would talk about people having accidents on the couch and stuff because she's so funny. So I just think that if humor is so subjective, like I'm going to talk about a movie today called Oh Hi that really appeals to other generations, not ours. And sometimes you don't get other generations' humor.
All right, what about Happy Gilmore 2, starring Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau? But they do have some of the greats. Julie Bowen, Christopher McDonald's in it. What do we think here? Is it good or bad?
Well, Netflix didn't let us see it ahead of time, so I come from a place where I've just heard, but they've been everywhere promoting it, and I think it's going to be nostalgic fan service because it's been 30 years. But Julie Bowen, Christopher McDonald, Ben Stiller, and of course Adam Sandler are back. And then they have fresh faces. I hear that Eminem's in it, and I forget what other music person is, but a whole lot of pro golfers. So I think it's probably one of those, well, you'll watch, you'll be entertained, you'll laugh, but who knows?
Yeah, and you certainly have. We know you to have a terrific sense of humor, which I thought was interesting in your piece you wrote about the Webster Kirkwood Times. You were actually questioning yourself a little bit, wondering why do other people think this is so funny, especially when it comes to this new movie, Oh Hi. You think it's a generational difference.
I do. This is a rom-com gone wrong. And the people in it are fine. Molly Gordon, she's on The Bear. She's Claire. And she's a master improv person, so she's got really smart comic timing. And then Logan Lerman, very good. He was in Perks of Being a Wallflower and many other movies. And they're a new couple. They've been dating 3 months, and they go on this getaway, and they're having a great time. They have great chemistry. And then she says something about, oh, this is our first trip as a couple. And he's like, I don't really feel that, he didn't want to be exclusive. So she goes unhinged, and they had found some equipment in a closet, and he was tied up. So she doesn't untie him. So she tells him she'll untie him after 12 hours, but she's going to convince him what a wonderful person she is. Not really the way to do that is to keep somebody tied up. And
hey, Misery.
So, yeah, it's like Misery. It's like Misery, but it's trying to be funny.
Oh.
And I don't find that funny. I find it borderline dangerous. Like at one point, you really fear for this guy. Like,
Yeah.
what is going to happen to him? And then it's all like, oh, never mind. And then you're like, this isn't funny. I don't understand this. But that's like, I guess, throughout life. Because, remember Don Rickles? He was insult comedian. And everybody thought, oh, my God, he's awful. But then everybody loved him. And then
Who thought he was awful?
Well, I think maybe older people that were a little bit more sensitive.
Oh.
I don't know, but now
When he first
everybody
came out,
loved him.
yeah, he
When
was-
he first came out, I think he was so different. And then
Best ever Tonight Show host, I think.
Oh, he
I'm the
was-
guest, I should say.
He was he just had no fear.
And he couldn't do it today.
No. And then Rodney Dangerfield, look at him. Do you think he'd make it today?
Oh,
No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
But
I don't
the
think.
guy-
I don't
You
think,
think he was offensive?
I think he's fine, and I think he's funny enough. But my kids do not think he is funny, even sort of. They just there's been other comedians like that where we'll chuckle and
Well, like
because
Henny
we have
Youngman
history.
wouldn't be funny today, I don't
Oh,
think.
yeah, like Take My Wife,
Or like
please.
Jack Benny or Bob Hope.
But
I don't
you're
know.
naming people that were really almost
Yeah.
more of our our parents' generation. We have to face the fact that the stuff that we found funny in our generation may not translate behind us as well.
Oh, by the way, Misery, for me, that's like a top 20 movie of all time, I think, for
Oh,
me.
it's so good. And
Yeah.
Kathy Bates, oh my God. And
Did she win for that?
Yes, she did.
She
And
deserved
that
to.
put her on the map.
Yeah.
That, and then now she's Matlock, and she's probably going to win an Emmy for Matlock.
Wow.
So she's the oldest person nominated for an Emmy this year, but I think it's female.
77?
Yeah, I think it's female.
Untamed is getting a lot of
gosh.
a lot of press on all over the place. I haven't watched it yet. What do you hear?
Monique likes it a lot.
Yeah, I watched it. My sisters watched all of it.
A little eye candy for those of us of a certain age.
Eric Bana and Sam Neill. But I love Eric Bana. I love him in those dry movies from Australia. He's been really different in movies, He was in an Adam Sandler movie, Funny People. Anyway, he is a park ranger in Yosemite. I love the scenery. The scenery, does your wife find that? It's just so
No, she finds him.
beautiful.
She likes that scenery,
Yeah.
and I'm an outdoor person, so I'll probably love it too, just for the outdoor
Yeah,
scenery.
sure.
I
Purely,
would
He
So-
plays a dark character, too.
Yes,
He's always
it's
in a
very-
bad mood. It's good.
Yeah, it's dark. He's like, they call him like this one ranger when he is on a horse all the time, and he comes in and this one ranger goes, "Oh, here's Gary Cooper."
Yeah.
And so they kind of mock him, but he's had a terrible loss. So it's dark. It's dark, but there's this mystery. And I've only gotten 2 episodes. I started the 3rd. So the mystery is hooking you.
Yeah.
And then Rosemary DeWitt plays his ex-wife. And it's a good cast, but the scenery is just beautiful. And so there's a dark element because, you look at parks as being wonderful and happy and great recreation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's 6 episodes. It's on Netflix. I think you can get through them pretty fast. And that's the only one I know.
So this is really a great weekend for television.
Yeah, well, when it's going to be 108
Yeah.
heat index, And then if you care to follow up on the Wes Anderson movie, The Phoenician Scheme.
which you found mediocre at best.
Yes, it is on Peacock. So if you want to just check it out.
Mm-hmm. I had several people come back after we talked about last week the Ballad of Wallace Island, saying that they also found it just a good summer escape getaway movie. So
Oh yeah, it's a palate cleanser, I think.
So back to Billy Joel for a moment. I think the takeaway, because I was not familiar with it, and I've followed him relatively well. 2 times he tried to kill himself. Once with sleeping pills, and once with what was that thing? He tried to drink.
The
some
drink. It was
liquid
like
Drano
Liquid
or
Pledge or something.
Yeah, Lemon Pledge. It was. Yeah, I had no idea. And I tell you what, some of these documentaries, you don't get the person to really open up. I mean, he is just. It's like an X-ray on his life.
I know, that's how candid he is, and I'm glad the ex-wife and the stepson all talk too, because
Yeah.
that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, she's good.
It's very candid, it's very real, I thought, and the musicians that have been with him for such a long time. But then when you see everybody just singing along to his songs.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the backstories. It's just to me, it was just very illuminating, but also very entertaining in a way that I don't think all documentaries are. And, you know, I mean, I do like the yacht. Have you seen the Yacht Rock one? Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
can just watch it because Michael McDonald's a hoot in it.
Yeah, and of course his St. Louis, his roots in St. Louis and Ferguson are always very fun for us to reconnect to. Before we let you go, I get to go see Soul on Fire in that advanced screening on Sunday
I'll
night.
see you.
Yeah, I'm
Soul
really
on
really
Fire
looking forward to
is
it.
the
John O'Leary.
O'Leary, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know after I mentioned it, Steve Savard was guest hosting, and I mentioned it. It sold out that night because a friend of mine was trying to get tickets, and he goes, "It's sold out." And I said, "Well, I mentioned it on KTRS."
So it's only for like the elites like yourself?
No, there was.
You had to sign up online.
I've got tickets as well.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the elites. like
This
you
is the
too.
elites, clearly.
So you're going Sunday night too?
Yeah, I think I will be, yeah.
Okay.
We
and then
found
where-
out from
yeah.
Lynn and so like our listeners, we all took advantage of her good advice.
And where and when?
It's High Point, and it's at 7:30, and they have a waiting list of 100.
Wow, and it's a red carpet thing too. Would John be there? Or no?
I think he's supposed to be there for a Q&A, but no stars.
Jill on the red carpet with Connor, tuxedos.
Yeah.
I can see
Yep.
that.
Tuxedos. That's really. I mean, if
It's
there's
going to be 108 degrees.
Frank, we don't like to mention it to you too often, but often Connor joins John and I on red carpet. I mean, we talked earlier this week how many times have we had caviar together without Frank being invited along? We'd always invite you, though, Lynn. I promise.
But no, I'm excited to see it. And Julie Buck said to me, "Please give me your honest opinion."
Is Julie actually in it as
Yes,
a
she
newscaster
is.
or no?
No, she's. I forget what she is.
I
but-
know what her character or her billing is. She's billed as rich woman.
Okay. And
So
then,
if she asks for an honest opinion, what if it really is rough? Are you going to come in here and just rip it next
well,
Friday?
I'll just do it in a nice way. The velvet hammer. Somebody told me, they said, "You're really good at being a velvet hammer."
That's good. Yeah. And there's no way it's not going to be good. I mean, there's no way we won't enjoy it. at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, and they're trying to do something to Jack Buck's voice, I heard, because William H. Macy's playing him, and I guess
I've seen some of the clips with him. He's unbelievable how close he is. How much it feels like you're watching Jack.
well,
that's
that's
really
good.
cool.
Well, Natalie Buck, who's Joe's daughter, she plays Nurse Colleen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got a significant role that will be recognizable. Okay, before we let you go in our last 30 seconds here, tell us what's happening at Miller Furniture.
Well, they've got a new line, River Resort, and I forget the last name of it, but it's beautiful. And that's one thing about Miller. When you walk in, this is what they're known for: American made, solid wood, and timeless classics. Because if you buy a piece, it's just going to age extremely well. It's not going to look like your grandma's basement, you know, the rumpus room of the old days. You know, it's going to last and last and last and last. And so they've got new styles in. And so if you're always looking for the next big thing, it's some sort of beautiful grayish blonde wood. I'm not really good with my wood terminology, but go check millerfurniture.com online, or Ellisville, Lake St. Louis, Belleville, and Fairview Heights.
As always, thanks so much, Lynn. We'll be right back after this.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years, and their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the sound of captivity. This is the sound of rescue. And this is the sound of freedom. Give Armenia's captive bears a second chance by supporting International Animal Rescue. Call 508-826-1083 or search The Great Bear Rescue to learn more.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang. Join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 on the Big 550 for Animal Talk, where I talk about everything regarding dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. Topics include nutrition, training, medical checkups, special guests show up now and then, and of course, I'll answer your questions. So join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 for Animal Talk on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
Want a song? Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hi, and welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. 2 hours just racing by today. Getting your questions in. We've got quite a few for Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. He'll be with us in about 20 minutes or so. So get those questions in if you'd like him to answer any of your Medicare questions live on the air. He is here just to do that as a service to you today as well. So we were talking earlier in the week, and several of you texted in, made comments about Prince and loving Prince. And Miley Cyrus has proven to be one of the most successful pop stars in recent history. She's managed to keep a much longer and more sustained career than I think many of us would have thought, coming from Disney child star to being such a respected musician because her voice is so darn versatile. And she had a really big, successful record this year that was also famous. And you can fill in the gaps for me a little bit better on this, probably, Connor, because it was a video. It had a video. It was a video album as well. Is that right? So there were videos that you got in addition to buying the record.
I remember hearing about this, but I was not. I
was
not buying it.
Come on.
You didn't buy it. Well, it was critically acclaimed across the board.
I heard.
And she's both for the visuals and the directing, and it's supposedly really well done, and the music itself. But she's not touring. And so she gets a lot of criticism from people saying people love you, they buy your albums, and she is not really interested in touring. So we'll talk in a minute why that is. But I'm a big Debbie Harry fan. I loved Blondie back in the day, and so it's hard to convince me that anybody can do it better than her. But Miley's version of this song, I think, comes close. She just has just an incredibly versatile voice. I mean, she covers a lot of the great female vocalists and pretty much all vocalists as well. But this is what she had to say about why she just can't make touring a regular part of her life. So, I thought that was a really candid report, and the early part was cut off a little bit, but she said Prince is one of her great idols, that he said that the physical toll that touring took on his body, those close to him think that partly at least led to his addiction to painkillers, which of course led to fentanyl, which is what ultimately he died from, which was an overdose.
Yeah, that's pretty admirable that she would give up, probably a lucrative life of performing concerts because she knows it takes her in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and considering, again, I mean, she's had her ups and downs. She's made some poor decisions. As she said, she has realized that there was substance abuse tendencies there, that she needed that sobriety was going to be a better life for her. But for her to be wise enough to come to those terms without the dire consequences that so many other musicians have suffered, I don't know. I was kind of impressed by that.
Yeah. She told Rolling Stone in 2013 that cannabis was the best drug on earth. She just called it a happy drug.
Yeah, that was an era, right, where she was kind of famously and criticized for being on social media, frequently smoking pot, which was, of course, with her very influence. She was very influential among young teens in her audience, and so a lot of people pushed back on that. And she looks back on it now, and she says her tattoos and that kind of open endorsement of something that should be a very personal decision for people, she questions based on her own maturity from that era.
Yeah, and here's the best part about her philanthropy. She has given over $1 million to like quite a few organizations, including the Elton John AIDS Foundation. And she's done some things with USAID and for AIDS. I mean, she's really been very generous.
Well, and of course, her godmother and a mentor in her life who's very close to her is Dolly Parton.
Oh.
And so she credits Dolly's way of living life big and doing what she enjoys and loves, but doing it with always an eye on making sure that those who have much give much. She says that's greatly influenced her as well. Yeah, I would have written her off. My kids watched Hannah Montana back in the day, and I just didn't give her much credit. And a couple of really people who have a much more sophisticated understanding of music than I did, probably, 7 or 8 years ago, started talking about what a force she was, and I turned my attention back to what she was doing, and I've become a big fan.
Hannah Montana. Certainly remember that name.
I was going to say Brooke would have been the exact audience for that as well. She probably was a fan back in the day.
All right. If you'd like to be a part of the program, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
And if you haven't made your plans for lunch today, Frank and I have already done it for you. 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery. It's a great place on a Friday to have that last meeting of your colleagues and pals and maybe do a little work and enjoy a little food, or just take a break from work in the heat if you're outside toiling away, to go someplace cool and comfortable. It is in the Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141. I just had somebody tell me the other day, I go in there and get gas all the time. Somehow I knew it smelled good in there. I didn't always put two and two together, but after hearing us talk about it here on KTRS, the Big 550, the Talk of St. Louis, they decided to give it a try. Giant thumbs up. I have a couple friends now who go in regularly and get their smoked turkey almost on a weekly basis, get a few pounds of it just to have as kind of a healthy protein snack at home. Other people have told us that they had great experiences having 3 Bay cater their events for their home or businesses. They can really do it all. They're the nicest people in the world, Rick and Carol Gross. They care so much about what they do. They've run a great gas station and business there for years, but food is their real passion. And so if you go through the front of the station and go to where the service bays used to be, you'll find a charming restaurant with absolutely delectable baked goods and delicious barbecue as well. Visit them today for lunch. Tell them we sent you. Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Foundation cracks come in many different shapes and sizes, vertical, horizontal, diagonally. Is that crack just a crack, or is that crack going to lead to a leak? You need to know the answer. Hi, everybody. McGraw-Millhaven here for Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Who do you call? Who can you trust? Cornerstone Structural Repair and Waterproofing. Call my friend Dale. He is the industry leader. They will accurately assess and fix your crack permanently. 314-262-6277 or stlouisfoundationrepair.com.
Can you hear it? That's the sound of the beginning of the countdown to Mizzou football.
Just free scooped up by Missouri. Zion Young at the 15, to the 10, to the house, to the house, to the house with 30 seconds.
Get geared up, St. Louis, as the Big 550, the home of Mizzou football, brings you all the action and everything Mizzou. Don't miss any of the action. We are the Big 550 KTRS. Hear us roar. Starting Thursday, August 28th. Powered by Royal Banks of Missouri.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Tracking some scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day. Keep an eye between noon and 9 o'clock for these storms where you get hit. That's where you can expect the heat index to be a little bit lower. For everyone else that don't see the storms, our temperature is still going to be hot, 94 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and a heat index at times reaching as high as 105. We keep the high heat index through Tuesday, after which point this weather pattern finally breaks. For the First Alert Ford Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Leah Hill for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why they like to say they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online today at kunafoodservice.com.
We are getting ready for part 2 of the Billy Joel special, which airs tonight on HBO Max. Last night, I thought with this dismal road trip by the Cardinals, the attendance would really, really be brutal. And the announced attendance was 30,000. And the reason is plain and simple. They gave away an Ozzie Smith bobblehead of him leaping in the air.
Yeah, the flip
which
one.
is spectacular. And like I had people calling me, hey, could you get me one of those? Look, I don't deal in that. But a lot of people showed up for that last night.
Yes, and I'm always reminded around this time of year because we will see a lot of people in Cardinals T-shirts in our neighborhood going out to one of the restaurants in Lafayette Square before they head down to the games, and we see them getting out of cars with license plates from surrounding states. And for a lot of people, a trip to St. Louis for a Cardinals game is part of a family vacation that can happen this time of year as well. So I think those two things combined are good for attendance, despite the fact that it's going to always be a toasty one. I think this time of year
I couldn't
Busch.
imagine just sitting there. I mean, I can imagine actually playing golf out in the sun, but I can't imagine just sitting there.
So for you, if you're moving and get a little breeze in and out of shade, that's the key.
Yeah, like Saturday and Sunday last week is 36. So 72 holes just walking, yeah.
Good for you. That's such you are very
But I couldn't
diligent.
do it if I was not doing something I like.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm in good shape. I'm just saying you're doing something you like, you don't even feel it. It's like sometimes, like for a long time, you'd get on a treadmill and you'd stick on a movie or a great show, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I just did an hour here, because it just takes your mind away.
Yes, sometimes, but I have to say, when I was doing that darn Kilimanjaro training and I had to carry a backpack on my back, even when I'd watch a good movie, minute by minute I was like, how much longer? Because you're supposed to do it like a 15 incline for an hour. I found that I'd much rather walk outside than I would
15 incline is pretty serious.
on a treadmill. I have to admit, I did not enjoy that part of it even a little bit. Connor, you're a music fan. Are you a Billy Joel fan, and will you watch the show?
Yeah, enough people have been talking about it that I probably will have to go check it out. Apparently, he's lived a very interesting life, which I guess I didn't really realize, although maybe I should have, because all of his music is based off of a lot of stuff he's lived through. So, yeah, I'll check it out.
Often I think there is a correlation between great storytellers and artists and the challenges in their life. They
Yeah. I wonder if he has like one of the highest percentage of his songwriting to something that happened directly in his life. It seems like, at least in part one, all those songs were just, whether it was about his depression or about the woman he loved, I mean, just everything.
Well, didn't that come through a little bit too in the Bob Dylan biopic? There's a little bit of a tortured soul, internal poet that's got to get some of these tortured feelings out somewhere in a way that expresses it, and we all benefit from that.
Yeah, that's a good thought. And I'm wondering, I asked this the other day on the Royal Banks Missouri text line 84126, who is the musician who's lived the most, quote, like normal life? I mean, what's normal? I don't know. But that, a white picket fence and one wife and two kids and no drugs and alcohol.
We got some surprising answers. Alice Cooper was one of them. That it was all persona.
Afterwards.
Yeah, but even then, I went and read a little bit of stuff. A lot. That was just he kind of knew he was a nerdy person who had this other life and knew he could play the role of something that would appeal to the rebel.
So he was
teen.
always kind of normal, with the exception of when he'd go on stage with all the stuff.
At least more normal than people would have ever guessed, based on how outrageous his persona was on stage, and kind of really going toward that. He was never really trying to turn anybody else, he says, into a devil worshiper or anything like that. It was more just knowing that the teenage rebellion of kids was a good place to sell records
And
from.
ironically, he became a man of God too.
Right, but he didn't. But he doesn't. He kind of integrates that. Like I didn't go from being a totally evil person to this. It's just I knew what the market would bear. A regular listener of the show is texting me, Connor, remembering that you once worked at Cardinals at Busch Stadium as a job in a previous part of your life. How hot was it on these days working at the stadium, or could you kind of hide out?
You wear like these kind of black pants or black shorts they give you, and a.
You could wear shorts, okay.
Yeah,
They're black.
Yeah, they're black though, and these weren't exactly breathable, workout shorts they were getting. It was, I think it was the same exact pant material, but just cut off at the knees.
Yeah, not exactly Lululemon shorts. Okay.
Yeah, and then it was hot. It was hot. And
what did you do?
You kind of work all over, and
did you sell soda or no?
No. I was never on the food sales part of it. That's a different. They work for the. They work for the provider of the food,
the vendors,
not the vendors, not the Cardinals, and
they don't have that anymore. They got rid of people like walking up the aisles selling beer and sodas. Correct?
Yeah, I think if not completely, then
maybe
a lot
green
of it.
Seats.
Yeah, I think in the maybe some of them are still around, but not
but
like it used to be.
We didn't get to hear what it was you actually did do when you walked.
What did I do? Well, I worked gate security for a year, and then I was working as you get better assignments the longer you're there. So it was hot though. And the worst part is you're normally like kind of in the stadium. You're not getting any breeze. That's the bad part.
Yeah. But what do you think is the hottest job right now that somebody have? What would be? Is it
hottest in temperature?
Yes, not the hottest, most popular. But who do you think the people are that are? I would say
greenskeeper.
Greenskeeper. But I'm thinking about what about those highway people who are working on road crews?
Oh my gosh,
roofers.
God bless them. Yeah, roofers. Yeah,
those are two that I'm thinking of right now. What are other ones are we missing that were just no matter what you do, it's brutally hot?
Getting some votes. Bob Seger in terms of living a quote normal life. John Bon Jovi, we mentioned that. Springsteen, did any of these guys battle drugs, serious drugs?
I don't think Springsteen did. He had a couple of relationships, but generally speaking, he was just, always portrayed himself as a working class guy, living a working class life until he became a multi-millionaire.
Getting a lot of votes for John Bon Jovi here, actually. He's a stand-up rock star and family man, which
Yes.
is really awesome.
Yeah, he is. He also did say he made some very bad choices though early in his career. And
Didn't he admit to cheating on his
many
wife?
Yeah. So I was going to say we can't say that he was not John Bon Jovi was not acquired. He has certainly owned that, and I think that shows a ton of integrity and redemption around that. But he's very open about the fact that the rock star life afforded him a lot of availability to being very promiscuous, in which he was during the time of his life.
Somebody texting in, probably a little bit older, and we appreciate this. Steve and Edie, normal.
Yeah, very
Steve and
good
Edie
point.
Gourmet.
Okay, somebody texting in, making asphalt now. God bless you. Thank you. My son does high-rise windows, no breeze. Gosh, that does sound like a hot job as well. So I hope you guys are drinking your electrolytes, those of you that are being forced to be out working. Camp counselor. The year I was a camp counselor and in no air conditioning, I remember that as being one of the hottest summers of my life, for sure.
All right, let's take a short timeout. When we come back, we hopefully will be joined by Ryan Raphael.
Yep, he's in the house. It's going to be great.
Great. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hats off to family fun on Sunday, July 27th, when the Birds host the Padres. That day, 20,000 fans, 16 and older, will get a City Connect rope hat courtesy of Quick Trip. And thanks to Haichu, 10,000 kids ages 15 and under will take home a Cardinals hat with custom charms. Upgrade your and your kiddos' game gear. Snag your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands. Because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
Are you old school or are you new school? Doesn't really matter, because if you need a hardware store, where do you go? Schnarr's Hardware, and their two locations, East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and of course their world headquarters on Clayton Road. You see, Schnarr's Hardware is one of those places where you walk in and you say, this thing broke off my toilet. Do you have one of these? Yeah, follow me. And they take you in the back and you pass 19 different aisles of things that you wish you could stop and look at. And do you need a 3-inch or a 4-inch? I think I need a 3-inch. Great. I'll buy two and I'll bring the other one back. That's why Schnarr's Hardware has been so successful. It's the customer service and the attention to detail. Whether you need fertilizer or whether you need something for the kitchen, maybe you need something for the big green egg. Two locations, one great hardware store, Schnarr's Hardware. And yes, the popcorn is always free, as well as the smell, because it smells like a hardware store. East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and on Clayton Road in Ladue, Schnarr's, or schnarrs.com. We'll see you there. When you go and get your car washed, do you really care which car wash you go to? Yes, because not all car washes are created equal. Country Club Car Wash is the local family-owned and family-operated car wash since 1989. All these other ones that are popping up, they're all run by out-of-town hedge funds. Keep it local. Keep it great. Touchless car washes, no brushes, inside and out. 5 area locations, Country Club Car Wash, or cccwstl.com.
Have some fun with your friends while eating great food. Of course, I'm talking about the Village Bar, the only place to watch the big game while eating the world's best cheeseburger. There's a reason people have made this their favorite hangout for decades. The game's on, and so is the grill. We'll see you at the Village Bar.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri, St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Seems like everyone has some sort of hail damage to their car. And if that's you, Dents Express is the next phone call. You see, Dents Express has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision repair. They have 2 locations. At Dents Express, they will work with your insurance company and handle all the paperwork, and get your car back to you looking as good as new. Dents Express, STL.com. 2 locations, 1 great family, Dents Express, STL.com.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the Control Option Mindset featuring the Lifetime and Generational Income Maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Connor Roofing is proud to be a small part of Christmas in July, celebrating the heart of St. Louis, and thanks to 550 KTRS. This is Kathy from Connor Roofing. For years, we've been dedicated to protecting what matters most, your home, your family, and your peace of mind. As a local business, we believe in strong roofs and even stronger communities. Thanks for making us a part of yours. Connor Roofing, keeping St. Louis covered, one roof at a time. You can find us at connerroofing.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online today at bommarito.com.
All right, Ryan Raphael is with us. This is the Frank and Jill Show. Ryan, good to be with you. How are you?
Thanks for having me on.
Now, I remember you telling me it really doesn't matter who's in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Does it matter if the stock market is skyrocketing? Does that affect anything at all?
It does not affect in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
No.
you guys are like on an island.
That sounds good about now.
Exactly. I know you guys. You are an island fan. I
Yeah.
happen to know you and your lovely wife are
Yes.
a fan of the tropics.
We are.
So we're giving you some tropical temperatures here in St. Louis to enjoy, just to pretend that
This is a
you're
little hotter than the tropical weather that we like. You know, we like the mid 80s or whatever.
Yeah, we've got some corn sweat and no ocean breeze. So I
Right,
think that's
exactly.
the downside. Just really quickly before we get to some of our excellent listener questions that have come in, because you're so kind to come in and answer those questions on the air, and I think they're good ones. We have, in the previous couple of weeks, we've also had questions on other days when people saying, is there anything in that big, beautiful bill that we heard, that as President Trump named it, the big budget bill, as a lot of other people are calling it, that's going to impact Medicare? We know there was some Medicaid cuts in it and some work requirements, but what about Medicare?
I would say no. I mean, from what I've read, and I haven't, not thoroughly, but I mean, the things that I have read, heard, or seen, there is really seemingly, I'll say not yet, but no. So nothing is affected right now. And yes, it is leaning more towards the Medicaid.
All right, let's get to some questions. I have a Medicare Advantage plan, and I'm happy with it. A friend insists Advantage plans are terrible. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Those friends as advisors,
Oh,
right?
the good old friends. I'll put it kindly, don't listen to your friends.
Well put.
But I mean, I hear it all, Frank. I mean, I do. I mean, I hear people say they're great, they're not great. To me, I often say the obvious answer is just as long as whatever's best for that person is all that really should matter. Some people love them, some people don't like them, but to each his own. Everybody has different needs and scenarios. So, I mean, maybe it's great, maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's super interesting. There's another question that came in. This is for Ryan. Yesterday, I received a letter from St. Luke's informing me that Essence terminated its contract with them, becomes effective 10/31. If it's not open enrollment time, can people change Advantage providers at this time? What happens in that case?
All right,
so even beyond this one, what happens when those contracts are terminated?
Right. So first of all, to address that, I'm told that they're still in negotiations.
Okay.
So I know St. Luke's did send out that letter. Essence has not sent out a letter yet, so they're just hoping that it works itself out. These things usually tend to work out. Case in point, Mercy and Anthem at the end of last year.
It was
really
about
a
that,
major, serious curveball coming. But they got it worked out. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then a person is just going to have to change their plan. So that second question is, right now there is a special enrollment period that got extended to the end of August, where a person, if they need to, they could switch their Advantage plan now if it made sense to do that. Normally in the middle of the year, you cannot switch. Usually there's not a scenario where a person can change. So with that being said, some people are maybe just feeling more comfortable that maybe I'll move on, or a person, if they can wait till the enrollment period in October to make a switch.
All right, another one. I'm 63. I'm currently receiving Social Security disability. Will I get a tax break this year with this big, beautiful bill?
I don't think so that'll work out because the related things with the Medicare is usually 2 years ago where a person, whatever their like adjusted gross income was, like right now 2023, other people. So I don't think that'll work out in that person's favor. But Medicare is Medicare. So if somebody's on disability Medicare, same as Medicare for over 65.
A big change that I guess you've talked about in the past was in recent years, I'm not sure exactly what the timeline was that vision and dental coverage within these supplementary, is that what you call them, supplemental plans? Is there anything else coming down the pike that people can expect that would be changes in that kind of coverage? Things I know, people talk about getting support for working out and health club memberships and other benefits like that to try to keep people healthy in this season of life. So they're spending less money on health care and more money on preventative health care with that emphasis in the current administration. Anything like that you think will come down in the future?
I don't know, Jill, because it's unfortunate. You would think Medicare themselves would have vision and dental and hearing. It all affects your health, obviously. So I don't think so. I think really the only way people can get it is either they purchase a policy on their own, or if they have back to the Medicare Advantage plan where those features are built into those plans. And that's a very attractive thing. I mean, there's many people that maybe go down that avenue because of these extra perks and things to try to keep them healthy.
What do you think the percentage of people that are eligible for Medicare actually call a professional like you or try to do it themselves?
Well, I think what happens for a lot of people, Frank, is they're so bombarded and overwhelmed with people calling and mailings and TV commercials and, the friends saying, call this person and, meetings all over. I mean, I think a person is better off to check in with a broker because that way that person can look at all of their options instead of just one. But to each his own. I mean, people get referrals from their financial advisors or HR departments, say call this person, we have this person. So, yeah, I think it would behoove a person to just look at several options instead of just one, because obviously if they get a mailing from a certain company and they call that, of course, they're only going to hear about that one company, which could be a good decision, But.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I guess, and I know this question came up for us a while ago from a listener, and I wanted to save it for when we were going to talk to you next. I thought it was a good one. Why is there such a thing as an enrollment period? Why can't somebody say, I want to change because this isn't really working out, or I know more than I did before? Why can't they just call like we can on, basically when our car insurance, we can change our car insurance policies. We can do that in our house insurance. Why is this different when it comes to Medicare, and we're limited by those time frames?
That's a great question, Jill. So, I know. So it used to be where you could just change all year long. Okay, that went on for a while, and I think that just caused a lot of confusion of what plan does the person have. And then with Medicare, they just switched. Okay, they got claims, they got this, and so I think and unfortunately, bad people in my industry just switching people all the time. I feel like that they just needed to condense it and create a window. And it causes a lot of, commotion type of things in my industry. It's just this short little window. There's other times people can change. It depends on what they have. Like I said, there's an opportunity right now. So it's really frustrating because it's just so much work in such little time. I'm happy to help whoever. I'm just saying that those people are forced into having to have a crunch time. So I think that it just makes it where, okay, here's your window, and then you got to pick your plan.
I think your wife is texting in. The Medicare man is the best. So happy he helped us with our Medicare plan. He's fabulously talented. He's good looking. Boy, you're getting a lot of love here.
Thank you, wife.
Yes.
No, obviously that was from a listener, somebody else saying.
Thank you very much, listener. That's very kind of you.
They're a big endorsement. I love my Medicare Advantage plan. They were in the hospital for 5 nights, cost them only $200 out of pocket, had to go to some skilled rehab afterwards for physical therapy, and again the out of pocket was very low.
That's great to hear. I mean, I appreciate those things, and the ultimate goal is for somebody to have peace of mind, and I feel like this is all not that complicated to hopefully get what's best for the person, but people don't know how to go about it a lot of times.
Is that why you love your job so much?
I do. I do enjoy it because I like to take the confusion out of things. And when people are overwhelmed or like, oh, I got a lot of drugs and doctors, or somebody might recommend their sister, let's say, or whoever, like, she's a tough one, I'm like, I love that. I mean, it's fine, whatever. There's a simplified way to do this.
One more quick one. Hey, Ryan, I have a Medicare red, white, and blue card. I also have Essence that I got after I met with you. Do I use one or the other or both?
In that particular situation with Essence, all they use is the Essence card. And when you have a Medicare Advantage plan, so Essence, United, Aetna, whoever it is, you only use that card and you don't use the Medicare card.
Good stuff. Yeah. Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man. Of course, people can find you at MedicareManSTL.com and call your cell phone at
314-368-6808.
Our listeners love you. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us. We have loved having all of you with us this week. It's been a very fun week, some great interviews, some great conversations. You guys have been a big part of that with us on the text line as well. And we have some great shows lined up for you next week as well. So set your calendars and please join us on the Frank and Jill Show. Of course, John Carney Show up next with Julie Buck and Max Foisey, Heidi, Josh and Bob later in the day as well. Make it a great Friday and a great weekend, everybody. We appreciate you.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, asking you to join